How's it going, you guys? Scott with Everyday Home Repairs, and I want to talk about one of the most neglected appliances in our homes, and that is your garbage disposal. Now, I asked the viewers, and I asked if garbage disposals are a good idea or a bad idea, and 2,000 of you voted in with 3 out of 4 saying it is a good idea, and that is the camp I come from. I think these are extremely handy, but can be abused and neglected. Now, this is one of those appliances where it might fail on you, it might leak, it might not be working. If you know just a little bit about this, you're probably going to be able to troubleshoot that yourself and saving yourself a service call from a local plumber. So we'll talk about cleaning and maintenance in a little bit, and also the one thing I've been doing wrong when it comes to my garbage disposal for years, but I did cut open a cross section. And I'll pop that off for you guys here so we can actually see what's going on inside of these so you can get a much better understanding of this appliance. So maybe to your surprise, there aren't a bunch of blades actually inside here. For years I thought there were some kind of blades chopping everything up, and that's not exactly how it works. It kind of works exactly opposite of that. So there is a spinning disc here. Now this is a Badger 100 made by InSinkErator, one of the most common garbage disposals you'll see because of the price. This is usually about $100, so it's extremely affordable, but there are some drawbacks. So blades are not spinning around in here, but you do have these 2 lugs that will spin around and then pull out with centrifugal force. And then you can see there's a little gap there between this and this outside metal ring. That is actually the grind ring. So water and food like this carrot would come in, right, set on your spinning disc. That would then get somewhat pulverized by these lugs, but then always trying to move outside to that ring and actually pressing against that ring, shaving off small particles that can fit through those slots. Once the particles fit through those slots, that's when they can go through your actual drain. So that's when they go down to this chamber here and then out your tailpipe into your P-trap. Additionally, if you've connected up your dishwasher here, you see the dishwasher water does come within the chamber, so any particles would also be sitting on here. So it's not a bad idea to run your garbage disposal for a little bit of time after your cycle on your dishwasher, just flushing out any food particles that might be sitting on there from your dishwasher cycle. And why we want to flush those out, especially when you have a lower end, right? This is the $100 price point, and on pretty much any garbage disposal on this lower end, the components inside are not stainless steel. They're galvanized steel, and they're going to rust and corrode over time, and that is most likely going to be your point of failure. That goes for the spinning disc here, and also that stationary grind ring on the outside that all the food is smashing up against and sitting, and then it can start to corrode, and that is where you can start to have some issues. But what does that actually look like? I have a few examples. This one I just removed from my own house. It operated for about 3 years and a pretty light load. We don't put that much down there, and we do flush that out. So this one I'll open up, and then also this 1/2 horsepower Badger 5 or 500 series. So this is a 3rd horsepower guy, but pretty easy. All you actually need is an E6 bit. So I'll go ahead and I'll remove these mounting bolts and then break that seal, because there is some sealant here between the motor housing and this chamber, because that has water in it. So it has to be a watertight seal, and that is just a note. You can get water at this point starting to leak out. So in the manufacturing process, or just maybe over time, the sealant in here is deteriorated and allowing water to come out. So you can check the tightness of your mounting bolts, but also you could open this up and put 100% silicone in here and seal that back off. If all your other internals are looking good and your motor's working fine, you could seal that back off and get more life out of your garbage disposal. All right, so now we'll just pry off the top part of that housing. And I'll open these up and then we'll zoom in and show you guys. This one that I removed from my house isn't too bad. This one looks to have all sorts of debris, corrosion, and who knows what inside of it. So I am kind of curious to see what's going on. So first up, we're going to look at the Badger 1, or the 3rd horsepower version. This has been in use for about 3 years, and overall not too bad. Now, I did a cleaning on a prior video for this one, so it really did clean off some of the corrosion, but you can see the spinning disc itself, and you can see it's a different material than the lugs themselves. The lugs are actually stainless steel, even on the lowest version. But you are starting to get your corrosion and also the corrosion within the chamber where the water flows. So this does lead to failures eventually, but the best way to actually avoid failures is cleaning and use. So here's an example back there. It took a lot longer to open up of one that's not being used and complete failure. I actually haven't opened it up before, so I'm kind of curious what's inside. Now you can already see all the debris that came out trying to get this thing out. So first, the motor actually came apart before the housing came off the top. All right, what the heck do we have here? Wow. Yep, so this is an example of all sorts of deposits. The lugs are actually locked in place. There's a ton of stuff inside of it. This is just an example of it not being used. Now this was a rehab property. I don't even know the last time they ran this. So there's all sorts of stuff going on here. But if you're not maintaining, not cleaning, not flushing, these components can really start to rust out. This one was all sorts of neglected, but here's another example out of a condo that I purchased, and the homeowner said that she hadn't used it for about 5 years. So it was not spinning, it was not kind of getting that debris out, but she was using the sink, and it ultimately just ate through the spinning disc, completely corroded the spinning disc. So these are something that we do need to clean and maintain. And my recommendation for cleaning is actually using a baking soda water paste. So I just use a ½ pound or a pound of baking soda. I mix that up into a paste, and then I dump that down into the garbage disposal and let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes. So baking soda is a base on the pH scale. So I'm using that to kind of try to break up any fat or grease that's built up on my garbage disposal. And then I actually will use one of the tricks you've seen online, putting a lot of ice down there and then cleaning that out with ice and cold water. That ice kind of serves as an abrasive sandpaper, knocking off any of that fat or grease that was broken up by the baking soda paste. So cleaning is important, one, to reduce that rust. You still are going to get some corrosion, but let's reduce the amount, making sure it doesn't limit the overall life of our garbage disposal. But two, also help you with smell. Now I talked about baking soda paste, and that's gonna help you get the fats out, but actually acidic scale is gonna help you with rust. That's where some lemon or orange peels, you hear different things, but something on the acidic scale, like even a vinegar, used independently. Don't mix the vinegar and baking soda like some people like to, because that could neutralize the effect, but a vinegar with its acidic nature could help to rinse off some of that corrosion and extend out the life of your garbage disposal. Or if you don't want to do that, there are these glisten packets. You just set them in, you run some water, you turn on your garbage disposal, those will foam up, and they're supposed to do a pretty good job, which I know some people recommend. There's usually in these packages, there's 4 different packs. They say to do it weekly. That's probably a little bit in excess of what you need to do. Monthly cleaning, monthly flushing would be good. And the number one thing I was doing wrong when it came to cleaning is I would always use like scorching hot water, especially if I had some kind of fats or grease that I really wanted to flush out. The challenge there is, okay, you're gonna soften up that grease, soften up that fat, you're gonna get it going down through your P-trap, get it going through your pipe, but the water inherently is gonna cool down, and then those fats are gonna actually line your plumbing, which can cause you much bigger issues down the line. So I do recommend when you're flushing and using that garbage disposal, especially with fats, you should actually be using cold water to try to keep them solid, try to break them up and get them out of your plumbing system. Now, fun fact, some cities like New York City have actually outlawed garbage disposals. They are trying to avoid food particles in the sanitary district because it's causing higher maintenance charge. This is similar to if you're on a septic tank, you should not be putting food down your drains because that can gum up what's called the leaching fields, which is a critical part to an effectively working septic system. Now, beyond the cleaning, it is good to know a few basics on troubleshooting the garbage disposals. The most common issue, you might have something caught and jammed in your garbage disposal. That is usually when like a bone gets caught in that grinding ring and then it locks up the spinning disc and you'll hear a humming noise. Now, unjamming that is as easy as using your specialized Allen key and sticking it in the bottom and then just rotating that disc. You see how you now have a direct path to the motor and you can rotate it manually back and forth. Usually rotating it in the opposite direction will help loosen that up and get that bone out of there so you're back to business. Now, if you overload the motor, there is a circuit breaker here. So if it starts humming and then you hear a click, that click is that circuit breaker popping out. So all you need to do is go under your sink, you just push that button back in, that will reset things, and then again, you can try to get that jam out and get it back to running. That is a huge amount of the issues and definitely should not be calling anybody if you have that type of failure. Now remember, a 1/4 inch Allen key works as well. So if you do not have that specialized tool that comes with your garbage disposal, maybe the past homeowner didn't set it in your sink base and keep it there, you can just use a 1/4 inch Allen key. And then leak pass, your most common leak pass would be right here at the tailpiece. So check there's an internal gasket and check to the 2 mounting bolts are tight on the flange, holding that in. Now, if you're connecting up your dishwasher, you could also have a major leak initially after the install. So there is an insert, plastic insert inside of this where you could hook your drain up, and if you don't pop that insert off, there's nowhere for the water to go. So all you have to do is take a flathead screwdriver, couple knocks of a hammer, and that's gonna pop a circular plastic insert off, and then just make sure you get it out of the inside of your garbage disposal before using it. Then your flow path will open up. If you do not do that, the first time your dishwasher goes to empty, that water's gotta go somewhere, and it's gonna go all over your sink base or all over your floor. Other notes, I do not put these in my rental properties. It's another thing to go wrong, and I think it does kind of lead to abuse. If it's not your house and you know you have something that's gonna grind up food, you're gonna put like everything and anything down there, and you're definitely not doing any cleaning or any maintenance. So I don't put those in my rental properties. At least that's my approach. And then if you look below the video in the description, you're gonna see the link to our Amazon store, which has all of our recommendations. There's 2 recommendations that I would give you when it comes to garbage disposals. If you just want to spend about $100 and get up and running, I would go with the InSinkErator Badger 5 or 500 series. Depending on where you get it, you'll see a 5 or a 500 series. That is the standard 1/2 horsepower. It's somewhere around $110, which is actually a pretty good value, especially if you're going to be cleaning that. Now, if you want to step up, I do like, made by the same company, InSinkErator, I do like their Evolution Compact series. Now you can see the housing is a little larger, and why is that? This plastic housing actually has some sound deadening in it, and there's some additional features that make this a nice upgrade. For about $200, you're kind of at 2x the price point, but it also has vibration isolation up top. So that's going to reduce the overall size. It has vibration isolation to your tailpipe. So that's going to reduce the amount of vibration going in your P-trap, which might loosen up those nuts over time and result in a leak. And also internally, let me show you, the disc is a little bit different and definitely beefier and will last quite a bit longer. So internally, you can see those lugs are much beefier and just a superior material and design. Internal components are stainless steel on this Evolution Compact. The grinding ring is upgraded as well. It has additional teeth up top, which integrate with the 2-stage grinding process compared to the 1 stage you get on the Badger. So these internal components are superior, and that's where that 2x price is coming for. And just from my opinion, this is worth the money and what I'm installing in my house. That is why this comes with an 8-year warranty compared to that Badger half horsepower that only has a 3-year warranty. So let me know your preference. Do you think it's worth the money? For me, it is. I'm actually gonna go install this guy right now. It's gonna step up my current half horsepower because this is 3/4 of a horsepower, and I like some of those other features, and especially the stainless steel internal components. Now, if you need some help with install, check out this video right here. I'll walk you through the full install process on that common Badger 500 series, which is a very approachable project by most homeowners. So thanks for joining me on this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.